This week I'm driving the 2022 Volkswagen Taos Highline 4Motion. For 2022, Volkswagen added a new subcompact SUV to their lineup, the Taos. The Taos is just underneath the Tiguan. Is it smaller than the actual Tiguan? Yes. But if you compare it to the old Tiguan, it's about the same size. So it's a pretty big subcompact SUV. Design-wise, it's really similar to the Volkswagen Atlas. As you can see, the headlights, the grille, all the front end, really similar to the Atlas. Same thing if we're on the side of the Taos. The shape of this one, again, it looks like a mini Atlas, I could say. In the back, tail lights, the rear bumper and all that, it looks like the Atlas. So once again, looks like a mini Atlas. We've got the Taos logos in the middle. From my point of view, it looks kind of weird. I prefer the old school way, just on the side here. I think right in the middle, right there underneath the license plate, it looks kind of weird. Trunk wise, we don't have a electric lift gate. It's something missing on this Taos, especially this one's a Highline model, fully equipped. I wish we had something like that. That's some feature we can find on the Chevrolet Trailblazer. Trunk wise, pretty decent amount of space. We're losing a little bit of cargo space with the 4Motion model because of the all-wheel drive system compared to the front-wheel drive model. Once we put down the seats, we have plenty of space. As you can see, we have a little panel we can go through here to put your skis or longer object. These are getting more rare these days, so really practical. So trunk wise, it's pretty decent. If we step in the back of the Taos, I think this is one of the key features of this model. Plenty of space, you know, really comfortable too. I think it's maybe more comfortable in the back than in the front. Plenty of space for my head and my shoulder. Yes, there's a step in the middle row, I could say. Maybe it's not ideal for 3 person, but for a subcompact SUV, it's pretty good. Under the hood, we can find a 4-cylinder, 1.5 liter turbo, good for 158 horsepower, 184 foot-pounds of torque. This engine is matched to a 7-speed DSG transmission. And don't forget, this one is a 4Motion, so it's all-wheel drive. So the engine is kind of small, but typical for the subcompact SUV market. We'll see if it's enough to carry all that big Tahoe weight. All right, on the road with the Volkswagen Taos this week. You know, on the road, you know, it's a subcompact SUV, so it's basically a car who's been lifted with a little bit more space inside. It's not the SUV ride. It's not super comfortable on the road. And one of the big weak points of this small SUV, it's really the seats. I'm a little bit too big for those seats. They're pretty narrow. They're pretty hard also. You know, after driving this house for more than 1 hour, you know, I was pretty happy to get out. You know, the suspension is okay. The seats are just not my cup of tea. I know I'm a pretty big guy for these small SUV, but still, they can put some decent seats, you know. If I compare this Taos with the Kia SELTOS, the SELTOS was way much more comfortable, way better seats and all that. So that's pretty much the ride you have to expect inside of this Taos. Performance-wise, you know, this engine is kind of struggling to like carry all that weight. It's a pretty small engine for, you know, the size of this small SUV. It's not really quick. You know, I had better performance once again with the Kia SELTOS. Similar performance probably inside of the Chevrolet Trailblazer. Transmission wise, you know, I was my hopes were pretty high this week. You know, we've got a DSG transmission, but it doesn't feel like a DSG transmission from my point of view. Maybe when you shift it in Triptronic mode, It's pretty decent when you do your own shift, but just driving in the normal mode, there's not a big difference between this transmission and the one you'll find inside of the Chevrolet products. You know, I'm kind of disappointed for the powertrain this week, because, you know, I was expecting something a little bit more from the Volkswagen products. I was expecting that German engineering, German driving, German fun, you know, and it's just plain and blah, you know. It's just not that fun, you know, nothing exciting. I think you know, those new Volkswagens are, you know, are getting kind of like Toyota-ish, you know. They feel more and more like an appliance, you know. It's just to go from point A to point B. They're losing their passion. If we step inside of this Taos, once again, you know, a good-looking interior, but it's just so plain and just like so, you know, I don't know. It seems like it's missing something. There's no passion inside of this Taos. You know, plenty of space for my shoulders, my head. Got a nice, you know, a big sunroof. The screens works pretty well. We got a bunch of technology inside. We got a place to recharge my phone wirelessly, wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and all that. Got a nice digital screen in front of me, the cluster and all that. All the buttons are really easy to use, easy to find. On this side, it works pretty well. We've got also adaptive cruise control and all that. Plenty of space in the back. Once again, there's a few options missing. I'm kind of picky with this Taos this week because it's the Highline, it's the top of the line, fully loaded one. So you don't have the hands-free lift gate in the back. There's no heated seat in the back. There's no shade and all that. You know, the Kia Seltos had all those options for the same price, even cheaper price. I think, you know, in this subcompact SUV market, it plays a lot with all the options and all the gadgets, and on that game, I think Kia, it's way up there, and it's really winning that game of you know, feature and option. And you know, the Kia products are pretty hard to beat on that side. So that's why, you know, this week I was expecting a little bit more from the powertrain. So maybe if you don't put a spatial driving experience, a spatial powertrain, you have to play with the feature, and it's not the case inside of this Taos. Fuel economy wise this week, it's one of the major factors. Why would you choose a subcompact SUV? And this week I was averaging around 9 liters per 100 kilometers. It's not that great for this size of SUV. You know, I think maybe the engine is a bit too small for the actual size of this Taos. Performance are not great. They're just okay. The fuel economy, it's once again 9 liters for this type of SUV. It's not good. You know, these days we found a lot of these 1.5 liters engine, and these engines are built for the Chinese market. That's why, you know, at one point, you know, Ford had the 1.6 liter, and they were adding another 1.5 liter engine, and you know, for a lot of people it didn't make any sense. But these size of engines is really built for the Chinese market, so that's why we see more and more of these 1.5. From my point of view, maybe a 1.8 or a 2 liter would make a better engine, a better driving experience, maybe better also on fuel economy, maybe rising the price and playing a little bit in the Tiguan territory. Maybe that's why we don't find a bigger engine inside of these Taos. But, you know, fuel economy wise, it's not something, you know, it's going to be a big factor why you're going to choose the Taos. Price wise, the model I'm driving this week is good for $38,195 Canadian. Yes, it's pretty expensive. Like I told you before, it's a fully loaded Highline model. It plays really at the same price range as the Chevrolet Trailblazer. Even the Kia Seltos was a little bit cheaper than that. If I remember right, it was around $36,000 Canadian. So, you know, fully loaded Taos, pretty expensive. I think for the same price, you can upgrade for something bigger, and you will get a better products also at the same time. So price-wise, you know, it's not really in the game. It's not a big factor. Why would you choose, again, the Volkswagen products? One of the big plus for this Volkswagen products, we've got the driving mode, so we can change it from normal to eco to sport and all that. And we got also some, you know, 4Motion modes, I could say. We got snow, normal, we got some off-road and some off-road expert also. It's pretty cool. Once again, I was expecting a little bit more from the 4Motion all-wheel drive. You know, the previous model I drove with the 4Motion were, you know, close to be a Quattro from Audi. Similar, you know, kind of like all-wheel drive system. But inside of this Taos, it just, you know, feels just like a normal all-wheel drive you'll find in other products like Kia and Chevrolet and all that. So once again, you know, I was expecting a little bit more, but this product didn't deliver. Overall, this week, not really impressed with the Taos. It was kind of a disappointment from my point of view. I was expecting way much more out of this Volkswagen products. You know, I was expecting that German, you know, fun to drive and all that. That 4Motion who kind of works like a Quattro. It's not the case this week. And you know, I think the competition is really hard in that segment. I think the Trailblazer and the SELTOS are a better products for the same price. You know, I was expecting a little bit more from Volkswagen, especially bringing a completely new model to the market like this one, and a little bit after the other brands. Sometimes, you know, you can bring a little bit more, you know, stuff, a little bit more technology, more and more, you know, to be able to compete a little bit more with the competition, and it's not the case inside of this Taos. So let me know in the comments which subcompact SUV is your favorite. You know, I think so far the Kia Seltos is pretty hard to beat. So let me know in the comments your opinion. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and we're gonna see each other on the next review.